So today, we're going to look past the big headlines, the statistics you always see about war, and really get to the heart of its human cost. We're going to walk through a powerful story that shows you the unseen parts of conflict, the quiet moments, the huge personal sacrifices, and, believe it or not, the incredible resilience of people. This one sentence, wow, it just nails a profound truth about how conflict feels today. It doesn't always start with a massive explosion. A lot of the time, it just creeps in. It starts as this low hum of anxiety, this slow chipping away at normal life, coming at you through the very phones we use to stay connected. All right, so let's set the scene. Our story takes place in the fictional nation of Arvella, and we're going to start by looking at that really disorienting shift, how a place that feels totally normal and peaceful can so quickly just fall into this state of complete uncertainty. I mean, just look at how fast this all happened. In just 1 month, life for someone like Arav, a local schoolteacher, went from hearing some unsettling whispers to seeing smoke in the sky. And this timeline isn't just a list of events. It's about the lightning-fast collapse of an entire world, of everything people thought was normal and safe. Now, what I think is so powerful here is how it uses sound to show you what's been lost. See, peace isn't just about no fighting. It's about the small, beautiful things, like hearing birds when you wake up. And when that sound is replaced by the constant blare of sirens, well, that's a way to understand what's been stolen that hits you right in the gut. Okay, so we've moved past the initial shock. Now, let's dive into the grueling day-to-day reality that started to set in for absolutely everyone caught in the middle of this. And you have to understand, these aren't just little inconveniences. These are direct threats to survival. When shops close, people go hungry. When roads are empty, you're isolated. Flickering electricity means darkness and fear. And when water becomes precious, well, every single day is now a fight for the most basic thing you need to live. And while civilians were facing that struggle, soldiers had their own reality. This detail it's just so human. It reminds you they weren't out there fighting for some abstract idea of glory. No, they were carrying these little photos, fighting for one simple, profound hope to see their families again. But here's the thing. Even in the middle of all that darkness, a completely different story was taking place. And this section is all about that. How, in the face of just unbelievable destruction, the very best parts of humanity didn't just survive, they actually shone through. And this is where you really see that resilience in action. As all the official parts of society were falling apart, these informal networks of people just taking care of each other, they got stronger. Strangers became protectors. Doctors became heroes, pushing way past exhaustion. And that image of volunteers forming human chains, literally linking themselves together to save others, what an incredible symbol of that collective spirit. This just shows you how deeply the community bonds changed. All those happy, celebratory connections from before, they were replaced by something much quieter, much deeper. A shared fight for survival, held together by rationed food and whispered prayers. And then the guns went silent. But, as we're about to see, that's not where the story ends. Not even close. Now we're going to explore what echoes, what lingers, long after the war is supposedly over. This is such a critical thing to understand. There weren't any parades, no cheering crowds, just this deep, collective feeling of exhaustion and relief. The silence wasn't a party. It was just an acknowledgement of the incredible toll this thing had taken on everyone. And this really brings us to the central lesson of the entire story, right? When it's all said and done, it's the teachers, the shopkeepers, the parents, the kids, ordinary people who carry the deepest scars and the heaviest burdens of these extraordinary conflicts. 50%. Just let that sink in for a second. 50%. When Arav, the teacher, finally went back to his classroom, half of his students were just gone. And that's not just a statistic. It's lost potential. It's silent stories. It's a future that's been changed forever. It's the physical proof of that heavy cost. But faced with that devastating, empty room, what does Arav do? He doesn't just give in to grief. Instead, he asks his remaining students this incredibly profound question. Right away, he shifts their focus from everything they lost to what they now have to build, what they have to protect. And honestly, that decision says it all. Araf understood that rebuilding a society isn't about memorizing dates or formulas. No, the most important lesson for this generation was to understand how valuable peace is and what their role was in keeping it safe. So, this is the image we're left with, this powerful contrast. On the outside, you see the scars on the buildings, the physical damage. But on the inside, in that small classroom, something else is happening. Hope is being rebuilt. It's a hard, painful process, for sure, but it's happening. In the end, that question Arav asked his students, well, it's really a question for every single one of us, isn't it? This story reminds us that peace isn't just the absence of war. It's this active, fragile thing that needs our constant care. And it leaves us wondering, what does peace look like to us? And what are we doing every day to build it and to defend it?